Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Expert to Authority show. My name is Simone Vincenzi, I'm your host, and as you can see today, I'm in really good company. In fact, this is a special interview for our collaborative article where we ask our GTeX members to contribute on a specific topic that we choose every single month. Now, this month, the topic is very interesting because it is about friendship and business. Now, I've been in business now for 14 years, and it's not easy to keep friendships. Sometimes it will grow, and we will have to let as friendships go. So then we can make space for new, more aligned friendship. Sometimes business give us new friendship and opens opportunities and relationship with people that we might not have had before. And so throughout this interview, we're actually exploring the topic between business and friendship because it is fundamental and vital for us as an entrepreneur. We know that being an entrepreneur sometimes can be quite lonely. And we spend a lot of time on our own trying to build our businesses. And sometimes there is not even people around us that can really understand what the heck we're doing. And so there is a strong sense in a lot of entrepreneurs of loneliness and isolation, which is why we are talking about this particular topic. So I'm going to introduce the first person to answer the first question, because we are going to explore a few questions. And the first question that we are going to explore is going to be a moment or what happens when we grow and actually we have to let friendships go. It can be very painful. It can be very difficult, in particular inside. And so now we're going to explore that first as a question. So I would love to introduce our first guest today, which is Artie. Artie, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, Simone. Thank you.
All
I'm
right.
doing well. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Okay, quick introduction, and then if you can let us know also a time where you had to let the friendship go and what you learned about that particular process.
Okay, so my name's Artie. I am a coach, a life coach. I combine physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual coaching to give whole body fitness, health, wellness as well. Um, so, with regards to the question, the biggest, I think the biggest challenge that I had with regards to letting go was when I started my entrepreneur journey actually, and my best friend at the time, didn't understand it. She was quite happy with it, how things were, and a lot of people around me were also very happy with how things were and how Artie was at the time as well. So when I decided to start on this journey, I initially went to the States for 6 months, but before that, I'd made some changes, I guess, put some boundaries in with regards to friendship as well. And in that, um, certain events happened which made us go our separate ways. The relationship that we had was really, I thought at the time, really close. I had to grieve that relationship and then for me to be able to move forward and process my emotions and everything around it because the lady that I'm talking about, she'd been in my life for about 10 years. It was a long standing relationship, so I really did have to go through the process of understanding my emotions, working through the grief, but also learning the lesson from the relationship itself, the friendship, and the outcome of us going our separate ways and what we was there to teach me. And I think as hard as it was, I mean, you go through different forms of grief, and after going through the grief, I kind of started to realize that she gave me a lot. She gave me a lot of what I needed at the time. She gave me the love, the attention, and I'm not saying I didn't get it from elsewhere, but she also helped me stay grounded at the time. But when I was ready to spread my wings, really start on the entrepreneur's journey, it was too different for her. And that's what I had to realize. And I think that's the same for a lot of people. When you start on this journey, it's something that people don't expect you to necessarily do, especially if you come from a working background and having a job. And they, a lot of people don't like change from what I've seen. So when you change, it brings up emotions in them. So you have to also learn to respect that they are going to
Mm.
have emotions and feelings about the situation, about you, about the change. And
Wow.
if you can, like, yeah. So I guess if you can grasp all of that, and then send them love, obviously go and processing everything, and send them love. Then it kind of helps you to well, it helped me to move forward. I was able to move forward and let the relationship go with love, learning the lessons that I needed to learn as well from the relationship. Um, and and then go on a 10-year journey, which I've been on since.
No, thank you for
Which,
sharing, Artie. And it is reflecting on the lesson because that's what we want to filter for here on this journey is about one appreciating the journey and seeing okay what this journey and this friendship gave me. But I said something really important, which is people are going to have emotions or opinions about and reaction based on our choices.
mm.
We can't control them or what the reaction is going to be, but we can respect them. We don't have
And
to
we can
agree with them,
control
but
our
we can respect
reactions
them.
as well.
What do you say?
I said we can only control our emotions and our reactions to
Yeah.
what's going on around us.
So we'll control our emotion, we'll control our reaction, and respect other people's emotion. So thank you for sharing, Artie. Really appreciate it, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
being part of the collaborative article. Make sure that you check if you want to connect for everyone that wants to connect with Artie. Make sure you check in the article. There is all the LinkedIn and all the social media profiles, so then you can connect directly with Artie. Just scroll down in the article, and you will see it under this video. All right, thank you, Artie. Appreciate it. Now we move on to Marjorie. Marjorie, how about you? Same question for you before we move on to the next question. What has been a time where actually your personal growth got you to part ways from maybe like a dear friend? And what was your biggest lesson in that moment?
Well, I've learned earlier on when I got into my entrepreneurial journey, with some people will support me and some won't. So I always, but the problem there was I was so focused on convincing the ones who weren't supporting me why they should support me because I needed their help. But then there was one particular friendship that I had. She was my best friend. She helped me a lot through my spiritual journey. And it came a point that every time she introduced me, I was her best friend. I was so loyal. I love this lady so much. I respected her and she supported me 100%. Until one day, when we met up for lunch and she told me what I post on social media is crap and I should outsource it. And I knew it wasn't coming from her, but she was coming from a place of pain. And I let her talk. I respected and listened to her. And I knew that there was something much deeper going on with her rather than me. And a few days later, she told me that she wanted to analyze whether she wanted me to be her friend. And it questioned, I was shocked because we're not in a romantic relationship, we're friends. And it questioned my core values. It questioned a lot of how I see friendship. And it took me a few days to go through the motion of grief. It took me a few days to go through the hurt because she was my best friend. And when I realized that my core value when it comes to friendship is I give 120%. And if someone has a problem with me, I think the friendship is solid, that they're able to talk to me about it. And then we resolve it and move on and carry on being friends. But in this instance, I realized I was okay to lose this friendship because I felt that I was being continuously judged in everything I was doing. Therefore, it was very difficult to go beyond all the way she was presenting herself. And I tried to fix it. That I still didn't know where the problem was, but I felt strong enough that I had worked on myself and my personal growth to let go. And after a week of grieving, feeling sorry for him, I felt really sad. I felt lighter. So I think the lesson for me is that I know who I am and I know what I value in friendships. I'm not a perfect person, but I'm willing to talk about it, to work it out, because friendship is valuable in my life. So that was the biggest lesson.
Yeah, I think it's
My core value intact.
yeah. Thank you for sharing, Marjorie, because a lot of people, they will play themselves small or change themselves in order to fit into a friendship. And I think we can all probably have made this mistake in personal relationships, in friendships, where in order to accept that friendship or keep that friendship alive, then we play a part of ourselves or a role within ourselves that is not us. It's not who we are. And then we'll realize later the mistakes that we have made. But what you said is about working. There is something that really stood out for me when you said, I've worked so hard on myself and I worked so much on myself that I have a sense of who I am. I know what my values are. I know what I stand for. Therefore, I can make a strong decision based on my values. Despite that, it can be challenging decisions. They can be difficult. They can be emotional. They can be hurtful decisions. But ultimately, I know that it's the right decision because I know who I am and I know what I need and I know what I want from a friendship. And I think that the message for everyone here is that if you find yourself in this kind of dynamic, it's okay to let go. It's not going to be easy, but it's okay to let go of the friendship if it's not giving you what you need right now. Because when you're growing a business or when you're in business, it's a different game. You will need different things from a friendship. You might need a friendship sometimes that is a bit more flexible, where you cannot meet as often because now your hours are taken more from running the business, right? Is that the other party gonna agree to that? Like there is so much change and so many dynamics, and so as long as you are have a strong sense of who you are, you know what's important for you, and you're able to communicate it, then you can decide if that friendship is gonna come with you or not. So thank you, Marjorie, for sharing. I appreciate it. And
Oh, you're very welcome.
for everyone who wants to connect with Marjorie, scroll down, check the article. Because you will be able then to see and connect with her in the article as well and check out what she has going on at the moment. Now we are going to switch gear in a moment. And by the way, I found a new feature here in this in this interview tool. So from now on, everyone who is going to be speaking, they will basically appear full screen like this solo, which makes it easier to focus on that person. I didn't know that we could do it, but now we can. So from now on, all the guests will do it in this way. Uh, what I wanted to share with you is now to go into the next question because we let go of friendships, and I definitely had to let go of some friendships myself, which was definitely painful. But also, there is a new balance of keeping those friendships alive or making sure that actually we nurture friendships while we are in business. And so the next question is really going to be, how do we make sure that actually we keep friendships alive? What are some of the best piece of advice or things that our guests here today are doing that will help them to get to keep their friendships alive and to nurture those friendships? So we are going to start with Veronica first. So Veronica, if you can have a quick introduction about yourself and also let us know what do you do as a business owner to actually keep your friendships alive. Over to you. You will need to unmute yourself, Veronica, please. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Veronica King, and I'm a business executive and startup coach, working with people in that, sector. Yes, it's interesting, isn't it, that friendship is such an important thing anyway to all of us, and of course all throughout our lives we have friendship. And my advice would be, if you were in business and more often than not, your friends will not always understand, first of all, why you have changed to, to a different person to who you were, because this is the things that they can't handle. They can't handle a change in you. And so, they want to step away. But quite often, you can retain that friendship. If that person is willing to do so, because they have to be willing to do so. And my advice would be to keep an open mind when it comes to thinking about them, and help them to be open, not just to what you are doing, but also to the world around them and how things can change and how people can change. Because we find ourselves in a different place, but we still want to retain that friendship. And I think that one of the best way of doing that is to keep an open mind, and also, keep communicating, to keep the conversations going. They don't have to be about your business, but, part of that friendship that you've had all this time was about common interests. So find something that, that interests both of you, and, concentrate on that, and do things with them that you enjoy or have enjoyed throughout the friendship. And that will keep the friendship maintained. That's what I've learned. And, I've lost some of my friends for a little while, but because I kept an open dialogue and an open mind, we are almost back on track to where we were before. I mean, they understand that I'm in a different place, but they've accepted that as where I am, and I've accepted them, for the way they see things
Yeah,
differently.
I love what you shared, and is that one is to keep an open mind and to keep an open dialogue. So keep an open mind, keep an open dialogue. So keep the conversation going, and also remember what made you friends in the first place. What was the thing that
Yes.
you had in common that actually created the friendship in the first place? And then nurture that relationship based on that common, based on what you have in common. So thank you, Veronica. Thank you for sharing, and also for everyone that wants to connect with Veronica. Make sure you scroll down in the article. There are all our contact details, so you can connect with her. So thank you very much, Veronica. I'd love to ask now the same question to Sean. What are some of the things that you do to keep your personal friendships alive despite running your business and all the craziness that comes with it? So, Sean, quick introduction, and then over to you.
Hi, my name's Shan Young, and I lead the Centre for Sustainable Action, where we empower small businesses to grow profitably with zero negative environmental impact. And we do that through research based, innovative programs and SDG assessment app. So we help you boost efficiency and cut your costs while increasing brand loyalty. So, how do I keep my friendships? And I just got off the phone to a friend that I mentioned in this article. And we've been friends for as long as my son's been alive, which is about 26 years. And our friendship has changed, and it's allowing the grace for that change. Like sometimes they've been in a position of life where we've been like doing completely different things, but they've always been the wonderful person they are. And so, because things go so fast, one practical tip that has kept many friendships is I put an alarm in my diary every 6 months for certain people to just ring them or text them or at least make contact with them. And so that's how I've kept a lot of friendships, and also not to talk about my business all the time because, you know, as entrepreneurs, we're always like putting our business out there, what we're doing, who we are, all these amazing things. But sometimes it gets tiring for friends who are not in the entrepreneurial world and they just want to hang out with you. So it's actually very powerful to keep those friends that you come up with because they know you before all the changes and they can help you do things that take your mind off your business, like really step out of what you do for your business. And this friend I'm talking about, if you look in the article, we just spent time in Taiwan, up a mountain, recording yoga videos for her because now she's an entrepreneur, but she wasn't years back. So let the journey naturally flow with people that you love. And I agree with everybody else who's spoken thus far. Like, some people you do need to let go of, but some people are just gems and you just got to keep them. So put that alarm in your diary just to ring them and just see how they are.
Put that alarm in
So
your
that's
diary.
my advice.
Put that alarm in your diary. That's a great reminder, but even in particular for someone like me, where that drops the ball on so many things I cannot even count how many balls I drop in my life. Actually, having that reminder to say, "Hey, how you doing?" or "Hey, we haven't talked in a few months. What's up with you?" And also about having the other thing that really resonated with me and what you said is about those people that they know you before you started your business. And in fact, I had a situation. Actually, I've got a few friends, so I changed many of my friendships throughout the years, but about 90% of them have changed since I started my business, and it happened naturally. But there are six people in my life that they know me from since I was like 7, 8 years old. These are we go way back. We went to primary school together. We went to secondary school together. With many of them, we went also to college together. We didn't do university because then I moved away. But then those people, they are that even if we are completely different walk from of life, one is an engineer, one is an architect, another one is a project manager in robotics, so complete different fields, but now we are able to come together as human and then share uh, things that we are interested in. So for example, sometimes we go on interesting travels together, and then other times we just share what happens in our lives and their lives, and just with the aim of listening and learning from each other experiences that are so different because we are also very different people. So thank you very much for sharing, Sean. And if you want to connect with her, make sure you scroll down and you can connect with Sean. And then so also the friend that she's talking about in the article. Now we're going to wrap up with the final question. And the final question then is going to be about actually the friendships that we make in business when we have a business. So there's going to be what are some of the best ways to actually make new friendships in business and some of the experiences that our guests have, because business, as much as takes away some friendship because we evolve, actually creates new network, creates new connection. And GTeX started because I met my what then became a business partner at an event. We became best friends, then we started company together, and then it was one of my best men at my wedding, which is Ben Shorter, right? One of the dearest people in my life, which I would have never met if it wasn't the start. We started on this journey. So we'll also start with this question with Linda. Linda Sage, if you want to, if you can please unmute yourself and have a quick introduction and answer your question, please.
Yeah, hi. Good to be with everybody. My background's a little bit different because I've spent about 40 years behind bars working in prisons with the most infamous prisoners that we have in recent history. And when I went on the entrepreneurial trade, which was quite late on in life, back in 2017, I just thought I needed to be away from that. So I was talking about mental health and particularly in burnout for people on the front line. And it was a fit that I thought would be quite good. It was an area I knew quite a lot about, and I worked my way through that. And as you say, as an entrepreneur can be quite lonely. So networking is such a must, and going to different networking groups, finding people that you sort of gel with, and of course joining you, Simone, with your group. I met some lovely people, and you keep in touch with them. And I do think it's a good one, saying the reminder about just keeping in touch with people, and especially when social media has their big blow ups, like you. I know Simone, you had the same, that your Facebook went down. My Facebook went down in 2002. That was my horrible year. Things were not moving quite as well as what I wanted them to be. I'd big problems. My daughter is on the autistic spectrum, and there was lots of problems within there. And although the business was doing well, it was a bit like wearing an uncomfortable shoe. It just didn't fit properly, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And by December of 22, I really was probably in the point of I was going to throw the towel in, and I'm going to do something completely different. I'm still working in the prisons, even though I've brought my hours down. But at some of these meetings I went to, I met a lovely lady, and she had sort of other different issues that she'd been going through. She had a stalker for almost 30 years, and various things that we were talking about. And she said, you've got to go back to your roots. And I didn't think people really wanted to hear about serial killers, sex offenders, psychopaths, but how wrong I was. So in the January 23, she literally pulled me up by my bootstraps and she said, right, we are redoing your website. We are going to redo all your social media. And she really, really worked so hard with me. She didn't let me get away with anything. She set we had a meeting every Monday morning. She gave me tasks to do during the week. I had to check in and get the tasks done, to get everything done. And literally we had a total facelift in less than 3 months. And it just started moving so quickly. She has become so important to me as a friend and also a business partner as well, because I've learned so much from her, and we do a lot of work together, especially within the domestic abuse and stalking environment as well. So in 23, this friendship really blossomed. It was from somebody that I'd met a few times at a networking event. We'd sort of got on quite well, but she really boosted me into another realm, really, with work. So somebody seeing something from outside that I hadn't seen before. And then in the end of 23, I went on holiday on a cruise ship, which is something I wanted to do. And again, speaking to somebody completely out of the blue who happened to be the cruise director, this year, I have been involved with P&O and Cunard, and so far I've been on 12 cruises.
Yeah,
So
I've seen the picture, and I've seen the pictures and also your announcements, and how is that like that an holiday then turned into business contracts, right? It's fascinating. What I loved about what you said, which I think is a great reminder, is that in particular in business, I can definitely see that to be true for me. Uh, you will have people that become friends because they step in at a particular moment in our life where we have a challenge that can be both personal and business, and they say, let me help you out, and they show up in a way that other people did not show up, and that creates such a strong bond, which now as you mentioned, blossom into a beautiful friendship that my wish is going to last many, many, many more years. So one is to lean in, because also you accepted the help in the situation that you have, because sometimes it can be easy to say to reject that help. Talking personally, I've definitely made that mistake multiple times. And the other part is, once you accept the help, then see, okay, these are the people that actually show up at my worst time. Let me build and continue this relationship, because they've seen the worst of me. So anything else is gonna just be like cherry on the cake. So thank you, Linda, for sharing. Make sure you connect with Linda again. Scroll down in the article where you can see all Linda's contacts. So thank you again for being here today, Linda. Last but not least, the same question for you, Caroline. What did business and your personal growth in business give you in terms of friendships as well? Over to you. And also a quick introduction as well, please.
Oh, yeah. Hello, yes, I'm Carol Ann, and what I do is I move writers through writer's block, free them up from that grip of writer's block so that they can write freely. And this has been a journey myself with writing, and along the way, I've met lots of people. I've had the joy of meeting different people, and they've opened doors to different experiences for me. And then I've met other people along the way as well. And So you've opened my eyes to different aspects of life and possibilities. And I'll give you a couple of examples how it's just sort of blossomed out. There was one occasion when I went to an event, and they were asking, well, what was your goal? What would you like to do? And I said, oh, I love dancing. I just stood up and said, I love dancing. And in the break, someone came up to me and she said she started a beer dancer class and would I like to go? And she was in London. And she then introduced me to assisting in a company called Landmark. That lady is still a really great friend of mine. But assisting in Landmark gave me back, helped me find confidence again in myself, but also it answered a big question I had about putting on events. What goes on behind the scenes? How do you do it? And putting on those big events that they put on and assisting behind the scenes helped me to understand that part. And again, got to know a lot of different people, and there's a few other people there are still great friends of mine. And another time, many years ago, I can't remember where I met this person now. It's either at a Yes Group or at Unleash the Power Within, Anthony Robbins event. But this guy, Elliot, he was called the coach with a hat. And he used to put on these free events. And I went there and then I ended up crewing for him as well. But it was there that I met Ben and Simone and got to know them and then saw them start GTeX and followed them through and then joined them. And then in there, I've met a lot of people who have supported me with my business. And in this aspect, it's given me the understanding of my business. I started to realize I was playing more with my business and I was doing a lot of personal development, but I now needed to focus on business and what that would look like. And it's really helped me to niche my business and structure it and get my programs and courses together. And from there, I've met a lot of other people as well and opened up other doors. So you never know where it's going to take you. But along the way, there have been people I've met who've become friends that have just then cut off or just drifted away. And it happens. But there are those that stay and it builds over time and become really treasured friends.
Yeah, there is, and there is something that you said, which is actually going in physical events. That's one of the best ways, probably, to actually meet our future business friends, because as much as we love and the online world, and because of the opportunities that it opens up, also building strong friendship, I found it is more difficult. It just requires spending way more time online to build a stronger relationship compared to spending time in real life together. And one of the things about that can speed up this process is by crewing for events, attending events. I know, for example, we had, that's Elliot that we had in common, which is also one of my best friends now. That's how we met through Elliot, right? And that was 14 years ago, probably at the very beginning of GTeX. So you saw everything. You saw every single evolution of me, Ben, and GTeX, and how we got to this point. You have seen the full journey, and that's thanks to and that's what developed also the friendship that we have right now. So thank you, Caroline, for sharing, and also for sticking around with us. Now that you mentioned that for these many years from the very beginning. And for everyone who wants to connect with Caroline, make sure you check their her details here on the blog. So just scroll down and you will see her part of the article. Which then I want to wrap up actually before I thank you all with something that happens to me as a particular mention, actually talking about new friends. Love to give a big shout out to a good friend of mine. His name is Chris Reynolds, and he is one of these people that for me helped me out in one of my darkest times. And 3 years ago I was almost that close to shut everything down. I went through a really dark spiral. I didn't want to run my business anymore. I was in a really dark place. And he was someone that I met at an event. We were both speaking at an event back in 2018. We had an interview, podcast interview in my tent because we were sleeping in tents at that event. It was very hot that day because it was around midday. So we were both like sweating like pigs, and with this, I was having this microphone that we were passing to each other. It wasn't a video podcast; it was an audio podcast. And after that, we haven't met for after that moment. We had a moment where we had a lot of fun together, but then we haven't really spoken for about 3, 4 years. And then after, when I was in this dark place, it kind of came back into my life, and I started making tons of connections, tons of introductions, and they started connecting me with a lot of different communities, in particular of digital nomads, which then helped me then get out of London, travel the world, and build new business, new relationship, new connection, and also reignite my passion for business. And I told him a few times that he was the catalyst, like his friendship and the care that he put during that time, where we weren't that close at that moment, but the care that he put and the amount of doors and opportunities that he opened where he didn't have to, literally turned my life around, turned my business around. I found again a new love and energy for GTeX, for the business, to get out of that negative spiral. So Chris Reynolds, thank you again. You're definitely one of my best friends right now. So big shout out to Chris. Now I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you, Artie. Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Linda. And thank you, Caroline, for first contributing to the article, and then secondly also contributing with your time as well for this interview, which I absolutely loved. So thank you again. And for everyone that is watching or listening, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any other episode. And also stay tuned for another collaborative article on a different topic of discussion, and also the other episodes that we are doing. And until next time, remember that together we grow exponentially. Bye everyone. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Bye.